Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and the John Cena era is over. And tonight on Raw will be a new era, according to Triple H, which I don't know how many new eras we are in at this point, but I feel like Triple H saying we're in a new era is his version of Tony Khan saying he's going to make a big announcement. But let's look back at John Cena's last match. Let's look at the overall show because I have a lot of gripes with this show. And Thursday on this channel, I will be reviewing the entire John Cena farewell tour. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button as I do produce weekly wrestling content here on this channel. Now, for this show, this was supposed to be a big exhibition style show where it was NXT versus the main roster. And honestly, I think this is a great concept. Something I think they could do moving forward in terms of doing something like this on a PLE. Maybe something like Survivor Series. Like, some people have kind of grown tired of the War Game stuff already. And maybe Survivor Series, you go back to what we had in 2019, where it was Raw, Smackdown versus NXT. Maybe you do that again. But I did like the fact that they wanted to showcase NXT talent in this show, but the first gripe I had was it was your standard. It was treated as a standard PLE. It had like 4 matches on the show. Yeah, 4 matches, and you could have had way more NXT talent on the show. I want to talk about the match times here in a minute, but yeah, I thought to me this should have had way more NXT talent featured in this show. And kicking things off, we did get Cody Rhodes, your WWE Champion, taking on NXT Champion Oba Femi. And if you have not watched that promo from Smackdown between Oba Femi, Cody Rhodes, go back and watch it. Oba Femi absolutely killed it. And I was so happy that this crowd, this audience, gave him the reaction that I thought maybe he would not get. Because we all know the difference between the hardcore fans and the casual fans, so to speak, in terms of the main roster fans versus the hardcore fans. So, the main roster fans may not watch NXT, which has kind of killed a lot of NXT talent in the past in their call ups, where they would be brought up and they would just get no reaction. So I was happy that the fans were doing Oba's taunts and, giving him the reaction that he deserved. Now, here's the thing about this match. I said in my predictions, I said I want this match to be straight up. On a night where it's John Cena's last night. On a night that you are probably, let's be honest here, bringing in casual viewers, your fans who may have stepped away from wrestling, but they know John Cena. They want to see John Cena's last match. And I said this about Sting in AEW as well, where, AEW had a chance, a huge chance, to bring in or to bring back fans or make new fans because of fans tuning into AEW Revolution to see Sting, and it was one of the things where they're going to see all these other talent in AEW and go, you know what, I might want to check this out. And this was the same thing here. John Cena, he's going to bring in a lot of viewers. WWE had a chance to do just that and showcase the NXT talent, and immediately we get a disqualification finish right off the bat. Congratulations. So if you were a fan tuning in to this show because of John Cena, maybe you checked out from wrestling or whatever, and that was your first thing you see on this show is a disqualification to continue a story. What are we doing, WWE? What are we doing here? Like, I get it. You don't want Obafemi to lose, but you don't want Cody to lose either. So to me, I just thought this it had the disqualification. Drew McIntyre had no place in the match on this particular show. And especially when you are highlighting Cody Rhodes, who is your face of the company, the new John Cena. And this match, 9 minutes, 10 seconds. Really? I'll get into the match times of the others here in a little bit, but 9 minutes, 10 seconds is all you're going to give Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi, and it's going to end in disqualification? Like, why not restart the match? Why not have Nick Aldis come out there and restart the match? Like, to me, I said it before, I thought they should have just had Drew McIntyre get mad that Cody was getting a match and just had Drew face someone else from NXT, or even just have Ricky Saints retain the championship, the NXT championship, and have Obafemi versus Drew McIntyre, which they did tease at the end there. But yeah, imagine tuning in for John Cena's retirement. You have not watched WWE, maybe you've checked out, and you just come back to see John Cena, and you want to see what's going on in WWE, and that's your very first thing you see. Really? Really, WWE? Then we go to Bayley versus Sol Ruca. I said this in my predictions. The fact that they picked Sol Ruca for this spot, and again, her being the lone representation for the females in NXT says a lot. She's definitely going to be the next big baby face of the women's division. Like, it would not surprise me if she's the one who takes the NXT Championship off of JC Jane. But in this match here, I thought it was all right for what it was. It was a good showcase for Sol Ruca, and honestly, the only thing that I'm disappointed in really is the finish. Like, it was a roll up finish. Like her finisher move is the Soul Snatcher. Like, she's on this big show where in front of an audience that maybe have not watched NXT. Like, why not have her finish the match with her finisher, the Soul Snatcher, one of the coolest looking finishers in WWE today? So why not have that be the finish? I thought it was interesting that they had Zarya out in her corner and then Lyra in Bayley's corner, and then like they didn't do anything with that. I just wish they had more NXT women talent featured on this show. I wish they had just more NXT talent in general featured on this show, which again I will go into in a little bit here. Next up, we had AJ Styles and Dragon Lee against a team of Javon Evans and Leon Slater from TNA. A TNA talent is on the show of John Cena's last match. Say what you will, but go back 10 years, you tell someone that, they think that you would be crazy. But this here is criminal what they did with this match. These four men got in a lot of stuff. Obviously, I think there was a botch here at the end with AJ Styles, but again, it's one of those things where this match, okay, I have the match time pulled up. 6 minutes, 30 seconds. Bayley and Sol Ruca went 9:25. 9 minutes, 25 seconds. On a 2-hour program. Now, John Cena and Gunther was like 23:45. That's not even, that's almost like under an hour of wrestling on a 2 hour show. Now, look, I get it. We're going to get a lot of tribute packages for John Cena. I get that. That part I understand. But holy crap. Like, there was so much commercials, so much fluff in between. Oh, look who's on the audience. Like, cool. Okay, I'm fine with the legends. Show RVD, Kurt Angle, Mark Henry, whoever, right? I love that Kevin Owens was there too. I thought that was so cool. See Kevin Owens there, especially with everything with his neck and everything. Hopefully, 2026 will be able to get some good news on Kevin Owens, and maybe he can return to the ring. But like again, like that stuff I understand. But the wrestlers, the Hall of Famers, who maybe had a tie-in with John Cena in his career, I'm cool with that. That's fine with me. But then you're showing celebrities and you're doing all this extra fluff where you could have had another match. Like I said, Drew McIntyre versus Obafemi if Ricky Saints kept the NXT Championship. Drew McIntyre versus anyone else. Hell, it was John Cena's last night. Why not have Ilya Dragunov do a U.S. title open challenge on John Cena's last night? Open challenge to anybody on the NXT roster. Like, you could have done one or two more matches. And I'll talk about this more in tomorrow's video because, boy oh boy, Triple H might be laughing now, but I don't know. I think the fans might get the last laugh in 2026. But yeah, absolutely criminal. 6 minutes for this tag team match where you have four amazing, talented athletes. 6 minutes? Really? You can have given them more, like 15, 20 minutes. I mean, Cody and Obafemi was under 10 minutes. Like, come on. Again, I'll go into all that later, but in tomorrow's video. But yeah, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee win here. And again, it was good for what it was. They got a lot in during the match, but it had so much show stealing potential. You want to showcase Javon Evans, who's obviously the future of NXT. Leon Slater, obviously, it's clear whenever his TNA contract is up, WWE is going to scoop him up the way they did with Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace. Then before the main event, a fun little segment here, which I thoroughly enjoyed here. The Miz in the ring, he's pissed off. He's in the gear that he beat John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 27 with. He's in the coat, the tights, and he's complaining about not having a match on the show, not winning the tournament. R-Truth comes out and says, Miz, I saw what you did. You switched the balls so you could take away an opportunity from someone else, and I have the ball of the person you took the opportunity from. Then the Miz takes the ball, he opens it up, he looks at it, and he looks at the name Joe Hendry. And you know the rules, so do I. Joe Hendry appears. Miz gets upset at Hendry and Truth, and then they beat up the Miz. Joe Hendry hits a standing ovation. R-Truth counts a pin. So Joe Hendry pinned the Miz on John Cena's final show. Move on to John Cena versus Gunther in the main event. This match here was your typical John Cena match. John Cena goes in, he gets beat down by his opponent. He starts to overcome the odds, and he kind of showcases a bit of Super Cena. You know, I think we even get some chance for Super Cena. Like the fans want to see Super Cena one last time overcome the odds. And at the end, we get an attitude adjustment. Uh, Gunther, listen, sleeper hold. Cena counters, but eventually Cena can't counter anymore, and Cena tapped. Cena gave up. And that was John Cena's career. Gunther defeated John Cena. Gunther retired John Cena. Now, after the show, fans obviously gave John Cena standing ovation, much well deserved. But the entire roster came out to congratulate him. And yeah, that's when everything went south. Triple H came out, he got booed. I'll talk about more about that in tomorrow's video. But yeah, it didn't go over well, I think, with the fans. I think the way that Cena tapped, I like the I guess some people maybe didn't like how he just kind of like the way he tapped. Maybe they didn't feel like Gunther shouldn't have been the guy. Like it's one of those things where the fans really a lot of took a lot out on Triple H during the post show where they were booing. Triple H was saying something to Cena, or Cena said something to him. They were laughing. Then we had Cody, CM Punk come in the ring. They put the titles on him, which, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know it's a callback to when I think Cena and Batista did that with Hulk Hogan back in like 2005, where at the end of a six-man tag, Cena gave Hogan his title, Batista gave Hogan his title, and Hogan kind of paraded around with both titles for a little bit and posed for the fans. So I guess that's what they kind of wanted to do, but it was a little bit awkward because it kind of felt forced in a way. Maybe I didn't. It felt like Cena didn't. Like you could see Cena's face. Like it felt like Cena didn't feel comfortable doing that. But it was kind of like Cody and Punk said, "Hey, they want you to do this." But yeah, show ended. Cena left his shoes, his wristbands in the ring. A fan in the crowd yelled, leave his jorts." I thought that would have been hilarious if Cena did that. But Cena left the ring, gave us one final salute, and as he turned away, boom, nothing. And as he walked away, the fans kind of realized, okay, this is it. They started booing again when they realized nothing else was going to happen. So that was John Cena's final show. That was John Cena's final match. Let me know in the comments below, guys. I do want to say Michael Cole, with the call of the night. Let me just say this. Professional wrestling has defeated sports entertainment. I don't know. Maybe that's going to play into the whole new era that Triple H is talking about on Monday Night Raw tonight. That maybe we're just moving away from the sports entertainment phrase and it's just going to be known as professional wrestling. But it does feel like, I feel like this is truly, we can say what we want about, everything going on with Vince McMahon with the lawsuit and everything. But John Cena retiring really feels like truly the end of the Vince McMahon era. Under Vince McMahon for nearly a decade, for over 20 years. So I think there is a lot there to say that, hey, this truly was the end of the Vince McMahon era. John Cena retiring put a nail in the coffin for the Vince McMahon era. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you guys think of Saturday night's main event? Did it live up to your expectations? Do you think John Cena deserved a little bit more? Where do you think we go with Gunther? And what new era are we going to see on Monday Night Raw tonight? Leave a comment below. I've been your host, Money Mike, and you've been watching Ringside Cinema.